Hey everyone, Pratiti Pathak here. Welcome to Unpacking Brain Drama, where we talk about real life experiences, the challenges, and the obstacles. Sometimes we use them to block ourselves, sometimes we use them to grow and evolve. Here's what I want to say: obstacles are not the things blocking our path, obstacles are the path. So, in other words, we have to grow through what we go through. So, join me as we have some amazing conversations with some amazing guests. Let's go. What's up, Wednesday? Welcome to Unpacking Brain Drama. It's such an amazing thing that's happened here that we've now in a new year. I can't believe how quickly the time seems to just keep on going by every single year. It seems to be getting faster and faster. I don't know about you guys, but that's what it feels like for me. Let me just move my stuff over here so I can see. It's like the middle of your week, middle of your morning, and here we are in a brand new year. I don't know about you guys. I hope you all had an amazing end of last year. If it was holiday time for you, as it was for me, I got to get together with lots of family and have lots of great food and do all of the things and go see beautiful lights. I was just in Longwood Gardens. If anybody's familiar, I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I am near Kennett Square, which has a beautiful gardens called Longwood Gardens, and it's a DuPont property, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. I have a membership, so I use my membership to invite and share with my clients, friends, families, anybody who ever wants to go. I'm always like, just let me know. I take people there all the time, and I was there the other day, and I'm going to be there again on Sunday because it's so gorgeous. So here I am, last minute, still moistening the lips because that's so important. So, when I think about this time of year, as a matter of fact, it's always so amazing for me, mainly because the end of the year for so many years was difficult for me. I lost my son 13 years ago. And his name is Devin Pathak, and his birthday is on December 29th. So it was always right in the middle of the holidays between Christmas and New Year's. So it was always a little challenging for me at the end of the year. And then this year, I actually had a very close auntie of mine who I endearingly call Masi, which specifically means in Indian, mother's sister. So my mom's sister passed away in December this year, just about a month and a half now before my parents have planned to go to India coming up in February. So it's been a very difficult time for our family, and especially my mother. It is her last living sibling. My mom is the baby of 6. So it was very difficult for her, especially since my son's birthday, which nobody would know this, but is also my grandmother, my mother's mother's anniversary of her passing many years ago. So it was a very difficult time for my mother this year, for sure. And all of us miss my people so much. And I think it is a time that we kind of reflect on what has gone on in the entire year. So the end of the year, I talked about last week on how we reflect on everything that we've accomplished or didn't accomplish, or maybe, new babies that have come into the world, or, people who we've lost through time. So having a lot of gratitude around what we have and what we have had is so important during that time of the year. And then literally the next month, which is this month and this time of the year, it's a new year. And we start taking a look at what we want to do in the new year, right? And when I think about that, I'm thinking about what is it we're actually saying, right? We take a look at what we want to change, basically, right? In every single year. So this episode, I'm going to talk about evolution and resolution, right? Mainly, we decide in the beginning of every year that we want to change things or do something different, right? So let me just open this up a little bit so I can see it a little bit better. But we think about what we want to change, what habits maybe we want to break, maybe some things that we just want to change a little bit. We start thinking about and taking a look at different areas of our life. Basically, what do we want to change in any specific area or within that area? And so the first thing I want to do is I want to mention some examples of things that we consider changing every year, and then why. Because think sometimes that is not as visible to us as why we're actually doing it, right? So when we think about the new year, we talk about resolution. Okay. And so let's start with our physical and mental health, right? Some of us want to lose weight or become lighter, right? We want to change how our body looks. Maybe we want to get physically fit. Maybe we want to put on 5 or 10 pounds, up to 5 or 10 pounds of muscle. Right? Maybe if you're like my younger self, definitely not myself today, but all through my younger self, I always struggled with gaining weight. So I was always somebody who was wanting to gain weight. And if you're elderly, like my father, who struggles with osteoporosis, he also is somebody who likes to maintain his weight and make sure that he's gaining weight and definitely not losing weight. Maybe we want to heal. Maybe we've been in an accident or had an illness that we want to heal from this year. Maybe we want to get out of pain. Or maybe we just want to get off of some pain medications or any medications for that matter. Maybe we're struggling with diabetes. With so much out there right now, there's so much information on nutrition and how to reverse some of our illnesses. And diabetes is definitely one of them. And when you think about medication, sometimes we want to break addictions, right? I smoked for 30 years. I've quit now for 9.5 years, which is quite amazing, especially since they say it's one of the hardest things to do. But if you're struggling with something that's holding on to you, like addiction, whether it's cigarettes or food or alcohol or something even stronger like medications, right? I know lots of people who had gotten addicted to medications just because they had gotten into an accident where medication was crucial to their healing and to their survival of the accident, but then it was difficult for them to get off of those medications. When I think about like mental and emotional health, they kind of go hand in hand, right? We think about ways of getting rid of anxiety, reducing our stress or worrying about things or other people, right? Some of us are worrying about our children, younger children and adult children. Maybe some of them are struggling with some of the other things we talked about. And with our mental and emotional health, we also look at different ways of how can we become more focused this year, how can we create more clarity, tap into our intuition, have more patience and have less road rage, right? There are things that are that we're doing currently, like maybe watching the news too much. Maybe that's one of the things that you want to change out is be careful and be a little more mindful of what you're allowing in to your physical body and your mental health in your brain and what you're watching and what you're listening to, because that really contributes, right? So some of those things is how we look at what we want to change. Or some examples of some habits that we want to break or change or tweak in some way in this new year. Same thing in our relationships. Maybe there's relationships with our parents that we want to change. Maybe we want to get closer. Maybe we want to get further apart with different people in our lives. Maybe we want some focus and clarity and some healthier relationships around our parents. Maybe we want more communication with our children or being closer to our children, right? Some of our children are grown and they're not with us, like mine. I can still get closer in my relationship with my son, even though he's not physically here anymore. And I can talk more about that privately and personally if anybody's out there and wants to talk about that. With our siblings, especially when you think about this time of year, extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, we at the end of last year, we probably spent a lot of time with people that we don't always spend time with. This year, I got to be with my 4 cousins that we grew up with. And they're usually, three of them are away in California and Michigan and Kansas. And they're not usually all here at the same time. So this year I got super lucky. They were all here at the same time. They actually all came over to my house and spent my son's birthday with me. So it was amazing. One of the things that I think about, maybe we want to change how we're interacting in our relationship with our significant other, right? If you have a significant other, maybe it's your spouse, right? Maybe it's your hubby, maybe it's your wifey, but maybe it's not that. Maybe you don't have a spouse yet. Maybe you're thinking about getting engaged this year. And that's something you want to plan on. And that's something that you want to have happen this year. Maybe it's the complete opposite. Maybe you are married and you want to get a divorce this year. Maybe that's something that's happening for you. Or maybe you are in the process of that and that's already been going on for you for quite a while. I know some people who have been in it for a couple of years and they're like, this is my year. It's got to happen. We're done. I want to finish this chapter in my life and I want to move on to the next chapter in my life. Maybe you are not in any relationships and you want to find a new love. Maybe you've been out of a relationship for a while, or maybe you've been single for a while, or maybe you've never been in a relationship before. And this is your first time that you're finally thinking like, this is my time. Some of us are thinking about, let me just get this going so I can see it in front of us. But some of us are thinking about how we want to contribute and interact in our communities, right? We're thinking about how we want to maybe have a greater impact by volunteering our time to something that is important to us, maybe doing more charity work or standing up for different causes that we believe in. I know I just talked about how I lost my aunt this year and how I lost my son 13 years ago. There's lots of reasons for having illness, losing people. There's a lot of huge organizations out there that are like literally devoting their lives and their careers in nonprofit organizations to making a difference in the world through these different causes, right? Maybe you want to go on a 5K walk this year for a charity that you believe in, maybe breast cancer, maybe you've lost somebody to breast cancer. I know many people who have. I know people who have lost people to colon cancer. There's so many illnesses, right? I know St. Jude's is for children's cancers, which is an amazing organization that does everything for no cost for helping the children out there. And even babies that are struggling in the early years of their life with cancers. So there's so many different things that we can contribute ourselves to and make changes for in other ways that help other people. Going back to maybe ourselves, maybe I know for so many of us, we want to grow in the work that we're doing. Right? If it's not charity work, it's our own personal work. If you are in a business or you're working in corporate America or anywhere in the world where you're working for another company or corporation or business, and how you contribute to them. If you're working in pharmacy or if you're working in the medical field, you're making a difference in how you want to grow within your own profession. within your own career. And so starting to take a look at how you can improve your skills, maybe learn more things to deepen your knowledge and your connection to what you're doing out there in the world. If you are an entrepreneur like me, I'm a realtor and a life coach. And I know that for so many of us, maybe we want to scale our business. Maybe want to grow our teams, right? And increase the number of employees that we have working within our business. Maybe we want to change our mission statement, or think about whether we have a mission statement or not, and decide on what that looks like for us. Maybe we want to create some core values around our company and our work that we're doing out in the world, and how we're making an impact and why we're making the impact, right? Maybe we want to start a new program. Maybe we want to market our business and our services and our products in a different way. Learn how to make a bigger impact through marketing, right? Back in the day, 25, 30 years ago, I could only market in the newspaper or in a magazine or even on a cafe little paper, right? The what do you call those things? The little paper that comes for your plate, right? I can't even think of it right now, but you guys know what I mean. But today I get to market here on social media, which I totally blocked myself from for so many years. And I had to learn how to make that change. Maybe we want to increase our revenue, right? Maybe we want to scale in size and what we're doing and in marketing in order to create more money, to employ more people, to make a bigger impact financially in the world as much as for ourselves, because how we make money is how we is directly related to how much value we're putting out there in the world. So if you're making a lot of money, hopefully you're also creating a lot of value for other people out there in the world. Maybe you want to increase your financial revenue by creating new streams of income, right? I know that the way to create wealth is not just through one line of income, but having lots of streams of income. Obviously, most of them have to be passive income. So how do you do that? Maybe you want to learn something about that this year. Maybe you want to learn how to invest your money in a different way, right? As the markets shift and our economy shifts, we have to learn how to also shift and pivot along with it. And in order to continue to be profiting and scaling up instead of going down. We don't want to think of recessions and things like that as a way of like, oh, we're going to have to go into a scarcity mindset and come from a place of like lack and restriction, because that can be very punishing and very anxiety ridden. Okay. So maybe you want to become a landlord this year. Maybe you want to start flipping homes. I don't know. I mean, I was in that space for a long time with construction and contracting work. So that's something that I always think about. And even in real estate, I work a lot with investors. So I love that part of a new income revenue, because I think that's a really good way. But there are so many things that we can do to change or up level our life in so many different ways of doing that. And is that really the point? Is the point of making changes just to change something? Because when I think about that list of all the things I just talked about, they're kind of like an action list. It's a to-do or not to-do list, right? If we're getting out of addiction, maybe it's something we don't do anymore. If we're losing weight, it's something that we're, changing in two ways. We're not eating certain foods, and maybe we're learning how to eat certain foods. So is that really the point of doing anything? I want us to think about a better question, like what is the point? Why are we doing things to make changes and and taking action or inaction or changing action. Yes, it's actions that actually make the changes for us ultimately, right? Because it's everything we do or don't do is what actually creates the result. But I want to ask ourselves, what is the actual focus on? Right? Are you trying to lose weight just because you're wanting to be in a smaller body? Like, I want us to take a look at real quick this word called resolution, because that's what we are doing most of the time. We are talking about a New Year's resolution. And when I think about the word resolution, what does that actually mean? So you know what I did, folks. I know that you know what I did. I went to the all-knowing Google and I asked, what does the word resolution means? And it means the act of finding an answer or solution to a conflict, problem, etc. Right? The act of resolving something. So when you think about a New Year's resolution, you're almost telling yourself indirectly that there's a problem that you're trying to solve for, right? And the other definition that I found was a firm decision to do or not do something, right? To kind of resolve to do something. But in the end, it kind of is unconsciously telling us that, hey, we're broken in some way, then we need to fix it. And I don't want us to look at our new year or any time in our lives that way. I want us to reconsider the word resolution and think about it in a way as in our own evolution, right? Think about evolvement, right? So what is the best definition of evolvement? So of course I did the same thing. I asked Google and it says evolution is a process of gradual change that takes place over many generations, during which a species of animals, plants, or insects slowly change some of their physical characteristics. I was like, what? Okay, well, when I think of you and me as humans, it's yes, physical characteristics, that could be the physical changing of our bodies, but physical, mental, and emotional changes over generations, right? It's our thinking patterns, it's our feeling patterns. That's what drives all of our action and inaction patterns. So when I think about how much we've evolved as a species and what we've been able to accomplish, just what we've been able to make and have available to us right now in our ability to sustain ourselves, think about it. Think about how we've evolved. I don't want to say technology just yet because that's the obvious, but think about where it all started. Let's just think about going from cavemen to here, right? How much we had to evolve just in our ability to eat food. Originally, we were doing it for sustaining our life, right? Literally, we had to go out and find our food. It wasn't just handed to us. We couldn't just go somewhere and pick it up in the market. We had to literally pick berries. We had to cut down plants, eat leaves. We had to figure out, first of all, we had to die or get energy from it because we had to test it all before we can figure out whether it's actually edible or good for us or poisonous. So I don't even want to think about all that. But we had to go out there and kill animals to eat or be killed by animals and be eaten, right? And how much have we evolved just in that place? Today, our food is literally killing us because of how much it is hurting us in other ways. Our lack of nutrition is hurting us in our physical health, right? Through inflammation. Most of our illnesses come from inflammation. So a lot of inflammatory foods is coming from our processed foods, our sugars, our man-made products that are actually not good for us, even though we've evolved to learn all these things, but they're actually hurting us, right? So think about all the food that we have evolved to have that is amazing and available to us, that's really good for us, and then some of the things that are not so much, right? And when we think about food, it's just how we eat it, what we're eating, how much of it we're eating, and how we're getting it and how it's available to us. Same thing, clothing. Before it was just leaves. Now we actually have beautiful clothes and materials and tailors and all of these different things on how we've evolved. Our relationship to all of these things, our relationships with each other, our ability to communicate with one another. There's been so much evolvement, right? We have so much at our fingertips. We have so much knowledge at our fingertips right now. And I can't even imagine, right? We can't even imagine right now still yet where it's going to go in another 20 years. We could think about it and be like super excited about it. But I want to get back to the core of the evolution and our New Year's that we're in right now, right? Why are we wanting to ever make any changes? Because I want us to think about what we're doing in our lives to evolve to the best versions of ourselves at the end of our time, right? So at the end of our time, what will that actually look like for us? What version do I foresee myself being at the end of my time here? And every single year leading up to that, how do I want to evolve to not the best version, just to the next version of myself, right? So what does the next version of my body look like and why? For me, I want to be in a pain-free body. I want to be in a healthy body. I want to be in a fit body, right? I want to look like this. Let's be quite honest. I want to look exactly the way I do now or have a little variation of that by the end of my time, right? Which means it matters to me how I take care of my skin. It matters to me what I put in my body because that is going to come outwardly to show on my face, on my skin. It's going to show outwardly in my hair. It's going to show outwardly whether I have hair or not, or what color it turns. I can tell you right now, this is not the real color, right? If I let it go, Elvira will appear. So what you put into your body is what's going to create that longevity. That's the evolvement I want. What am I going to do differently right now? How am I going to tweak it that much better so that at the end of this year, my body is in that much better shape? My mental health is even better. I have more awareness. What are some of the things that I'm going to change or implement? That's really what I want you to think about. Implementing new things and maybe eliminating some things, not just going hard at it, right? I mean, there's no need to go crazy and start hitting the gym. What I want to look at is how am I going to improve daily, regularly? So don't think about huge, drastic actions. Think about small daily practices to lead up to the end result. And it doesn't have to be drastic. It can be scaling every day to a better version of your yesterday. That's the point, right? What do you want to do differently? How do you want to see your business legacy at the end of its life, right? How will you do your exit strategy out of the work that you do? How will you incorporate more time into your day to do the things that truly speak to your heart, like standing for a cause, volunteering your time, creating art, creating music, spending great times and creating beautiful experiences for yourself to create those beautiful memories? Because let's face it, in the end, that's what I have of my son. and a shit ton of his things that I still haven't parted ways with, which are only holding me back, right? I am dedicated this year to evolving my relationship with my son by allowing myself to let go of some of the things that are his, that I think define whether I'm a good mom or not by holding on to them or letting them go, and thinking that I'm not a good mom by letting them go. But the truth is, them sitting in boxes is doing the same thing as if they weren't in boxes or in my house at all, because when I think about those things, they're here in my mind. That's the legacy that my son has left behind, is the memories of him, all of the happy times we've had together, all the experiences that we shared. That's the evolvement that I want to continue having in my life through all of my experiences. This is the way that I work with the people in my business, right? All of my clients come to me with different areas of their life that they're stuck because they can't get to evolving themselves, because they can't stop the pattern of the thinking that's keeping them stuck in the pattern of the way that they feel, which is usually anxiety, depression, sadness, worry, stress, feelings of deprivation, right? Lack, want, fear. And these are the things that keep us from connecting in the relationships the way that we actually want, connecting with our own life in the way that we want. So I want to share with you one last thing. Instead of looking at New Year's resolutions from now on, I really want you to look at it as the new year of the new you, just evolving to the next version of yourself, and look at the bigger goal. If you guys want help with taking a look at how do I even start thinking about the end if I can't even figure out tomorrow? Totally makes sense. It can be so overwhelming. So reach out, send me a DM. I always offer a free consultation, 30 minutes, usually ends up going about 45 minutes. Let's take a look at what you want. At the very least, you're going to walk away with so many tools to be able to start implementing, right? I have so many free things on my website. It's resultsbydesigncoaching.com. Go there, pick up some of my freebies, learn how to get to the next version of yourself on a daily basis. That's how you get to evolving into the best version of yourself at the end of yourself. So I hope that was helpful for you guys. I love being here with you. I'm so excited for our journey this year in 2023. I think last week we were saying 2023 is for me. It's for the new me. It's for the new next version of me. However you want to see it, take a look at your future version of yourself and start acting from his or her place, because that's where evolvement's going to come from. I love you guys. Can't wait to see you next week. And you guys are just amazing. Thanks so much. Have a great, beautiful rest of your week. Thank you for listening to Unpacking Brain Drama podcast. You'll find links for all the things mentioned below in the show notes. And it would be incredibly awesome if you would take a quick moment to leave a review on iTunes or wherever you listen. If you'd like to be considered as a guest on our podcast, be sure to go to www.resultsbydesigncoaching.com for a free 30-minute coaching session. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time.